Hey, what's going on, guys? Seth here with the Christ in Sports podcast. And today we are going to get into Proverbs 14. But first, I'd like to point out the Instagram. Go ahead and go here. You can follow um, Christ underscore and sports. Um, this way you can see the daily strength that I put out, and then also um, I usually post on my stories when I've uploaded something. So go ahead, follow me here. But other than that, more importantly, let's get into the word. Verse 1. Every wise woman builds her house, but a foolish one tears it down with her own hands. Whoever lives with integrity fears the Lord, but the one who is devious in his ways despises him. So we have here, you're not with God. You're not on God's team if you're devious, if you're if you make schemes. The proud speech of a fool brings a rod of discipline, but the lips of the wise protect them. When there are no oxen, the feeding trough is empty, but an abundant harvest comes through the strength of an ox. An honest witness does not deceive, but a dishonest witness utters lies. A mocker, that's kind of common sense, a liar lies and a honest person tells the truth. A mocker seeks wisdom and doesn't find it, but knowledge comes easily to the perceptive. And this is because you might be thinking to yourself, well, doesn't God tell us that if we seek for him, that we will find him? Yes, but a mocker is seeking wisdom, seeking God, just so that he can mock it and disbelieve it. Therefore, God doesn't present himself to the mocker because it's like this. It's like, um, well, for one, why doesn't God reveal himself to everyone as he has done to me? Um, he has. First of all, nature screams a divine creator. Um, Even the way we're built, uh, the human eyeball is more complex than a jet fighter engine, and it cannot operate correctly without all the parts together. Um, Here, we'll pull up a picture of eyeball. No, that's not. Okay, here you go. Yeah, there you go. So you have all these points, and I do believe that if you take one out, like if, say, example, we can't evolve and have an eyeball without the optic nerve, right? Without the optic nerve, you wouldn't have any of these working, and it just would not come to existence. So if God did reveal it, which he already has, it's in creation, it's in us, it's written on our hearts. Again, we're made in God's image. So the morality that we have comes from God. And we should already be able to tell, hey, this isn't how I naturally am. There must be a divine creator. Um, but yeah, if he was to reveal himself, which he already has, how many people would actually believe him? Um, I can't remember where there's a story where this man dies, goes to heaven, and says, or goes to hell, and says, "Please let me go tell my friends and family about this, so that they might believe." And God tells the guy, he's like, "They have Moses telling them, and yet they still don't believe." Oh, so verse 7: Stay away from a foolish man, and you will gain no knowledge from his speech. The sensible man's wisdom is to consider his way, but the stupidity of fools deceive them. So it's saying it's sensible to consider your way. So like just be cautious throughout the day. Um, Not cautious as in, well, is someone gonna shoot me? I mean, it might be. Is someone gonna come out the sky and just smack me around? No, it means be sensible and cautious. To consider your way, as in your spiritual walk, your spiritual path. Uh, be cautious of the sin around you, and to not veer off the path into the sin. Verse 9. Fools mock at making restitution, but there is goodwill among the upright. The heart knows its own bitterness, and no outsider shares in its joy. The house of the wicked will be destroyed, but the tent of the upright will stand. There is a way that seems right to a man, but its end is in the way to death. Pause here at verse 12. This was said, I can't remember if it was chapter 11 or chapter 10. Um, but then I also referenced Proverbs 3, 5, and 6, which is don't lean on your own understanding. Because just as verse 12 here is saying, there is a way that seems right to a man, but it ends in death. Naturally, I look at a pretty woman. Yeah, naturally I'm lustful, but that is a sin, and naturally that sin would cause me to go to hell, to be in eternal death. Um, but it seems right to me. It naturally seems right to me to be lustful for other women that aren't mine, and that way leads to death. My pitching mechanics might seem right to me, uh, but it might be also causing me to not be throwing as hard as I should be, or not throwing as many strikes as I should be. But let's continue on. Verse 13. Even in laughter, a heart may be sad, and joy may end in grief. Very true. I was depressed for a little while, and I found out after I came out and told people I was depressed. I came out. People told me they had no idea because I always kept a smile. I always was laughing. But just as this verse is saying, even though I was laughing, I was still sad. I was still depressed. I still put a smile on, even though I was sad. Verse 14. The disloyal one will get what his conduct deserves, and a good man what his deeds deserve. The inexperienced one believes anything, but the sensible one watches his steps. Yeah, so like if I'm inexperienced in pitching and someone says, hey, you're right-handed? Did you know if you actually throw with your left hand that you might throw hard? Well, if I had no idea what pitching was, yeah, I'd be like, oh, that makes so much sense. Or little kids learning math, if you go up to them and say, hey, 2 plus 2 is actually 5. Well, they have no idea, so they're just going to take your word on it, and they'll believe anything. But a sensible person triple, double, triple checks what they are listening to. So, a wise man is cautious and turns from evil, but a fool is easily angered and is careless. So where do I see this in my life? Um, Not necessarily a wise man is cautious, but fool is easily angered. Um, I don't want to like pick on anybody but myself. Uh, I don't know. Whenever I'm arrogant and someone might be throwing something in my face that I know is they're right and I'm wrong, yeah, I probably get easily angered. and I don't care what happens anymore. But up here, remember at the beginning of this book, Proverbs 1, whoa, it said that knowledge is or the fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge and wisdom. Uh, and we said that the beginning or the fear of the Lord is the same thing as becoming a Christian. Oh my goodness, I just lost what I was saying. Oh yes, okay, yeah. Um, a wise man is cautious and turns from evil. So the beginning of knowledge, or the fear of the Lord, is the beginning of knowledge and good. Oh my goodness, my brain's a mess, man. I've been studying way too much. Too much caffeine in the veins. Oh man. But yeah, just as a wise man turns from evil, so should we, as we are now Christians and we are called to sin no more. We are actually, if you look at Romans 6, and if you know me in real life, you know I love Romans, which is the book that I'm going to do next uh, due to popular demand. But here you go, right here. When you become a Christian, we shouldn't sin anymore, and this is why. What should we say then? Should we continue in sin so that grace may multiply? Absolutely not. How can we who died to sin still live in it? Or are you unaware that all of us who were baptized into Christ Jesus were baptized into his death? Uh, we'll skip ahead. Um, here you go. Verse 6. For we know that our old self was crucified with him in order that sin's dominion over the body may be abolished so that we may no longer be enslaved to sin. So what that is saying is when Christ died to us, we're free from sin. We should not sin anymore on purpose. Like we should try to turn away from evil. Further on in the chapter, it gives the here like this part right here. I'm not going to go into it. I'll save it for when I make a video about it. Uh, I'll just give you a little summary. It goes on and says, uh, if you were a slave of one master and someone else bought you, are you still going to work for your old master? No, absolutely not. You're not. Right? And that's the same way we as Christians should be to sin. Uh, Christ purchased us with his blood on the cross, so we should no longer serve our master of sin. Let's continue on. Verse 17 of Proverbs. A quick-tempered man acts foolishly, and a man who schemes is hated. Class, raise your hand if you've ever done something stupid while you were super mad that you probably regret. Oh, yeah, yeah, everyone? Yeah, okay, yeah, I thought so. Anyway, the inexperienced inherit foolishness, but the sensible are crowned with knowledge. The evil bow down before those who are good, the wicked at the gates of the righteous. A poor man is hated even by his neighbor, but there are many who love the rich. The one who despises his neighbor sins, but whoever shows kindness to the poor will be happy. Don't those who plan evil go astray? But those who plan good find loyalty and faithfulness. There is profit in all hard work, but endless talk leads only to poverty. So what this is talking about is no matter what you do, as long as you work hard in it, you will benefit in it. So, for example, athletes, if you work hard in your sport, good job, you'll profit in it because now you are better. Students, if you study hard, good job, you will profit by getting a good grade on that quiz. Or spiritually, um, you study and devote and you work hard for Christ, work hard to become like Christ, guess what? You will profit because now you have become more Christ-like. It's just that whatever you do, do it enthusiastically as if done for the Lord and not for man. Work hard, play hard. By the way, that's Colossians 3:23. Whatever you do, do it enthusiastically as if done for the Lord and not for man. Verse 24. The crown of the wise is their wealth, but the foolishness of fools produces foolishness. A truthful witness rescues lives, but one who utters lies is deceitful. Again, kind of common sense. If you lie, you lie, and if you're honest, you are honest. In the fear of the Lord, one has strong confidence, and his children have a refuge. The fear of the Lord is a fountain of life, turning people away from the snares of death. So the fear of the Lord, again, remember, is becoming a Christian, is following Jesus. So following Jesus is a fountain of life. It will turn people away from death. 28, coming to the end here. A large population is a king's splendor, but a shortage of people is a ruler's devastation. A patient person shows great understanding, but a quick-tempered one promotes foolishness. A tranquil heart is life to the body, but jealousy is rottenness to the bones. The one who oppresses the poor person insults his maker, but one who is kind to the needy honors him. The wicked one is thrown down by his own sin, but the righteous one has a refuge in his death. We'll pause right there. So when the wicked one is thrown down by his own sin, what that means is when I stumble and I sin, I fall down and I fall further and further away from God. And it's all because of my own sin, just as this verse is saying. And the righteous one, people who have their faith secured in Jesus Christ as their Savior, they have a place they can go and refuge in death. 33. Wisdom resides in the heart of the discerning. She is known even among fools. This kind of reminds me of the demons talking about Jesus. So like people know Jesus, but then even the demons know who Jesus is. Just as even fools know what is wisdom, but they still don't follow wisdom, just as the demons still don't follow Jesus. 34. Wrapping up. Righteousness exalts a nation, but sin is a disgrace to any people. A king favors a wise servant, but his anger falls on a disgraceful one. All right, so to wrap up, we'll actually go back to verse 34. When it says sin is a disgrace to any people, well, for example, the Holocaust, the sin of murdering all those people was a disgrace to the German people. They might have not known it was a sin, but now that they look back at it, they might still not think it's a sin, but it is a disgrace to the German people. I mean, there's certain things throughout all of American history that we look back and it's a disgrace to our American name. And some of us might not recognize that it's sin, but it is still a disgrace. So, sin, no matter what it is a disgrace to any people. Me and my non-Christian teammates, we can still both agree that, like some of my teammates, we can still both agree that premarital sex is wrong. Sin is still disgraceful to any people, whether or not they think it's sin or not. It's some actions might still be disgraceful to people. But that's gonna wrap it up today. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, or prayer requests, you can either drop them down in the comment section, or again, you can follow me on Instagram at Christ_and sports. And you can DM me. I'd love to hear from y'all. But that'll wrap up the video. See you.